The first screens you'll see are the data optimized training screens. These are just slider overviews that give insight into what TriDot is about. Once you click Get Started, you're taken to your main dashboard, which has an email verification pop-up so users know when they need to verify their email. Then users start by entering their personal information. There is an expandable tooltip that gives them information on how this information will impact their training. Users also have the option to add a profile image. Once that information's been entered, it will save and you will start the physical attributes section. Same thing here, you have the expandable tooltip. The next section is the training section. This is where they will start calculating their SwimDot score, their BikeDot score, and their RunDot score. Before we start the calculation process, a pop-up will appear on the screen. This is giving context into what the dot scores are and how they are used in training. There are two calculation methods, the dot score assistant or manually entering your times or threshold. The manual entry option allows users to enter their current swim performance as well as their longest recent duration to set their volume. By clicking on the question mark icon, users are able to learn more information about how the times they enter are used to calculate their dot scores, as well as how their longest session duration is used to set their baseline volume. If the user has a threshold value from a recent FTP assessment, they are able to enter it on the threshold entry screen. If a user is new to the triathlon sport, they can use the dot score assistant to calculate their score. The dot score assistant will ask users their preferred measurement, as well as provide a selection list of time ranges. A beginner-friendly tooltip is available for users who are newer to be able to select the accurate time range. After selecting their best effort time range, the dot score system will ask them what their current endurance is like in that discipline. This will allow TriDot to set their baseline training volume. Users will then be shown their dot score for that discipline based upon their selections. Users will then return to their dashboard to complete the process again for BikeDot and RunDot. On the BikeDot manual entry screen, users will select their preferred measurement, 15 mile or 25 kilometer. The user will then enter their current bike performance time for that distance, as well as their longest recent training session. If the user has a threshold power value from a recent FTP session, they can enter it on this screen. If the user is new to biking, they can use the dot score assistant to calculate their dot score. They will select their preferred measurement and then estimate the time range that their best effort would fall within. They will then select the time range that their longest recent training session duration falls within. Then the user's dot score is calculated and they are taken back to their dashboard to start their RunDot score. From the manual entry screen, they will select their time trial type, 5K or 10K. Then they will enter their current best performance as well as their longest training session duration. If the user has a threshold pace value from a recent FTP assessment, they can enter it on the threshold entry screen. If the user is new to running, they can use the dot score assistant to calculate their RunDot score. They will select their preferred distance, whether that be 5K or 10K, and then from the range of time, select where their estimated best effort would fall within. The user will then select the time range that their longest current session duration falls within. They will then be shown their RunDot score and taken back to their dashboard. Once the user has calculated all of their dot scores, they will be shown these generating optimized training screens, which indicate how we are using their data to generate their training. Once their optimized training has been generated, a pop-up will display on the screen indicating the user can explore optional preferences or go straight to their training. Users are able to resend their verification email or set up optional preferences. Users have the option to connect any devices or apps. They can add a coach referral or find a coach via Coach Connect, and they also have the option to add a race to their training. Once the user finishes making selections for what race type and distance and race name they want to add, it will be added to their training and their schedule will adjust accordingly. Once the user navigates to their training, a pop-up will display with a tooltip giving them an overview of the menu items in all of these submenus and categories they can find listed underneath these options. From here, onboarding is complete and they can return to their Getting Started checklist from the profile menu at any time.